Grace and peace, my brothers and sisters in Christ. This is Dr. William H. Myers, professor of New Testament and Black Church Studies at Ashland Theological Seminary in Ohio, and senior pastor of the New Mount Zion Baptist Church in Cleveland. I bring you the word for the day from Luke chapter 6, verse 24. Woe to you who are rich, for you have already received your comfort. It's a contrasting verse to the one from yesterday, blessed are the poor. But, woe, Luke contrasts these, poor versus those who are rich. You've already received your comfort. Now, these are kind of difficult verses because does it mean that poor gives you salvation and being rich does not? No, it's not talking about that. It does offer a blessing to those who don't have in this life and a stern warning of a woe to those who have a lot. This is not about money and possessions per se. It's not that money, possessions per se is bad in and of itself. God doesn't talk about, Jesus never talked about money per se, as Jose Miguez Benino pointed out. The West likes to talk about that, he says, money per se. But Jesus never did. What Jesus talked about is what you do with your possessions, the blessings that you have received. So you receive comfort when you've got everything that you need. Of course, the poor, they're struggling. It's a matter of what do you do with what God has blessed you with? What is your relationship with your riches over against others who do not have? Are you just interested in getting more and more and more? And see, therein lies the slippery slope of riches. You can so easily become devoted to and worship your riches. So there's a woe there for you to be careful, because basically if you're well off and you're rich, God didn't just give that to you for yourself, allow you to get it for yourself. Help somebody else. You see, God had some rich people. Abraham was rich. Job was rich. But of Job, the richest man in the East, but of Job, he's also the most righteous man in the East as well. It's a matter of what do you do with what you have? The rich man had a lot. His barns was already full. Some people's barns are already full. They don't even realize their barns are full. Why do you need to tear down your barns and make bigger barns and store more, or build another barn? If they already filled, if you've already got more than you could ever use in a lifetime, maybe you ought to do something with it to help others. Now, we may not be rich. You may not be rich in the sense of how this world, particularly the Western world, considers riches. Millionaires and billionaires. But it's also relative. We ought to think about the relativity of that over against somebody else who has nothing. And relatively speaking, you have a lot. Beware of your riches. Don't let them run you. You run them. Don't let them manage you. Don't let it be your God. Don't you worship your riches. But use your riches. Use whatever it is that you have that you can share with somebody else and make their lives a little more comfortable as yours is. And your riches here can be stored up in heaven in riches in what you do with them here by how you have helped others. Grace and peace.